This is something I've been touching on for a while, guys. Pay attention to what Mikkel says here, okay? I've been saying that there will be an incentive for every nation, right? Damn near every country to list whether it's going to be their CBDC, right? Whether it's going to be a stable coin, whatever they choose, right? Their choice of currency, they have an incentive to list it on the XRP ledger. Now, mind you, a super hyper liquid, okay, asset that can go in between each one of these. We don't want to have to do this. Look at how many rails, look at how many different bridges we have to create. This is what we want, guys. This is a super hyper liquid asset, right? That can simply be transacted. Each one of these countries can have their own digital currency, whatever they choose, guys. But the means of transaction, right? The on-demand liquidity, this is where XRP will play a part. This is where it will be major. And this is why XL has been saying, I simply see XRPL, the XRP ledger, right, being the best ecosystem that any financial institution, any asset manager, right, even down to retail, guys, they're going to choose the XRP ledger for this reason right here. Let's listen up.
You just had something like XRP in the middle, you create liquidity between all these different counterparties, so everyone can interact with one another without having to make connections to each other. So rather than right here, right, the JPY having to connect to GBP, connect to EUR, connect to USD, connect to CHF, connect to CNY, connects to MXN, right? They can just connect to XRP. The chart on the left shows the current financial system. The chart on the right shows how much simpler it would be having a neutral bridge asset in the middle. So Ripple is building their CBDC platform the same way they built ODL, by being able to tap into the public liquidity of XRP in order to make it so you don't have to create this infinite web of counterparties. All you have to do is have a single counterparty that isn't really a counterparty at all. It's just neutral, decentralized code, so there's no trust involved. You're just using a single hyperliquid asset to bridge all these different currencies that are already sharing a native code base to the private ledger. The private version of the XRP ledger can have all the different monetary tools that these different organizations and countries need in order to maintain and balance their currency. But they're still going to have to interact with other nations and other corporations and other people outside of that platform. And that's where it makes sense to have a neutral, decentralized bridge asset in the middle, concentrating the liquidity into a single source rather than trying to spread it out across all these different corridors. This is the future where I think XRP is going to play an extremely important role. And what you can see is Ripple is designing their CBDC platform with this use case in mind. XRP as that neutral bridge liquidity asset, creating infinite liquidity between all these different corridors, making it so we essentially solve the problem of having so many different FX, so many different exchanges, so many different connections between what should be a fairly simple problem to solve.